Hey everybody, it's Chad from Ripple Real Estate, brokered by EXP, and I've started these webinars to kind of give a little bit of service to the community. And my first webinar is with Mike Brown from 605 Grit. I entered his boot camp last fall, which was brutal. It, I've never done a course like that, and even in the military, it was definitely a good course. So, Mike, 605 Grit, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started with 605 and what you guys can offer?
Yeah, absolutely. I do appreciate you having me on and being able to speak to people and hopefully help some people out during this time. So, yes, as he said, I am Mike Brown. I am the owner of 605 Grit Fitness. I started out as a personal trainer through the former facility with my co-owner, Will Hayford, as it was Hurricane Fitness. And I started out as a personal trainer and bought into the business, co-owner, kind of did that thing for a while, and then eventually was able to buy out the whole facility, kind of branded, make it my own, do my own thing with it. Was blessed the opportunity of getting into this to help people. And that was the whole purpose of doing what I do, is that in my family, we have health issues that we deal with. We have heart issues. And so it was important to me to take control of that, take control of my genetics, and utilizing exercise to help kind of overcome that. And through also the process, I learned that it can become a lifestyle more so than just combating the genetics that I was going up against. And it became a way of helping with stress, and it became a way of just being whole and finding the thing that I was passionate about through not only just the exercise portion, but also the avenues of exercise as well, because there's not just one thing in fitness that you can do. There's several things, and there's lots of different sports you can be a part of. You can do, specific sports that are out there, football, basketball, things like that. But also there's strength sports like strongman or powerlifting, or even agility sports, things like Spartan, like what I'm wearing today. That's something that
Mhm.
I participate in. And those were all great avenues. And what I found throughout the process was that I can teach people these different avenues and then help them, guide them to some of these things so they can be passionate about it and they can take those avenues and continue their fitness journey. So that's what 605 Grid is about, is finding those things for these people and hopefully guiding them so they can continue a life of fitness and making it something that is their own.
Awesome, awesome. Um, so, Mike, during these times, people are sitting at home, they're sitting around a lot more than they normally would have. Why is fitness uh, important to our health, especially now?
Yeah, so like right now, obviously we have this pandemic happening, and the immune system is the biggest thing that's going to help us fend off, and also be able to, if we get this sickness, we get this virus, it can help us overcome it without being so vulnerable to it. So what are some of the things that exercise does for the immune system? Well, physical activity helps flush bacteria from lungs and airways. So as you're exercising and you're working really hard, you can actually flush some of those bacteria out
Mhm.
as you're doing that. So that's just one aspect. Another is that it causes changes in antibodies in white blood cells. And they circulate more rapidly when that happens, and they can also detect illnesses quicker, so they can
Oh,
help fend them off faster.
oh,
Also, what's that?
oh, I said okay. Yeah, I'm totally on board. I study a little bit of epigenetics, and the right food and the right exercise, you can basically change your body.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things too is that a rise in temperature during and right after activity can prevent bacteria from growing. And we kind of know, like, what we've been told is that if you obtain, say, COVID-19, is that you should allow yourself to have your fever and allow that fever to stay up there. And that's because that's your body's way of fending it off, is creating heat, so
Mhm.
that way you can fend off that bacteria so it doesn't grow. Same type of thing there, is that you want to create that heat, and that can also help to fend off that and prevent bacteria from growing. And then also, one of the last things that I would bring up too is that it slows down cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. And some stress can increase chances of illness. So if you can decrease some of that cortisol levels, that's also going to help you with preventing from getting the illness. So.
Okay, awesome. Mike, what advice can you give to people that are always in the gym? They need, the 700 pounds of weights. They need they're on the deadlift machine, or they need all this extra stuff. If they're sitting at home, what can these guys do with little to no equipment?
Yeah. So, when you don't have equipment at your disposal, you do have to get a lot more creative. And there are things that you can do, body weight, that will also help maintain or increase muscle size. And that's about slowing your reps down, focusing on calisthenic exercises and slowing your reps down, creating time under tension or even flexion. So if um, you may have to do things where you're doing static hold movements and really creating load on those muscles. And you can find different things around the house too that can be your resistance. You can utilize as resistance. I've seen people do different things from, they want weights and they want to create like simulated deadlift. They deadlift their couch. You still have to be safe when you do that. But I've seen that done.
Lifting
Using
kids.
Yeah, exactly. Use your kids, use your dogs.
Yeah.
There's things around the house. There's things outdoors you can use. I mean, one of the sports that I participated in, strongman, the basis of strongman was to utilize things that are out in nature to create the sport, which was like logs, like pressing logs and stones, carrying stones around and just picking up real heavy things and walking with them. So really, the world can be your gym. You just got to be creative. And then also, if you're not wanting to go outside and do things, taking body weight exercises, calisthenics, and slowing those movements down, and that will help also maintain at least some muscle mass. And then once you get back to the gym, it won't be as hard to get back in and go back to the training that you were doing. So
Kind of going back and back to the gladiator days, lift
exactly.
stones and stuff. So,
Yep.
so what advice would you give to that person that doesn't has never worked out or very little? What advice would you give them to start?
When you first get into it, it can be really intimidating. And the most important thing is when you start with things that you can do. Start with things that maybe not are going to just completely wreck you the first few times you get into the gym. Start slow, work your way in, let your body adapt, and you're just kind of increasing load. The most important possible thing you can do is be consistent. When you're consistent, it becomes more of a way of life, and it also becomes something that's going to be sustainable, that you're going to learn to enjoy rather than it feeling like something you're going to dread every time you go in or every time that you're going to do whatever exercise or workout you're going to do. Take it slow. If you've never done exercise before, maybe you got a pretty sedentary life, just start with walking.
Mm-hmm.
Get outside, do a little bit of walking, just try to shoot for a little bit further distance each
You
time you
wouldn't
do.
you wouldn't suggest going full bore the first day, right?
Yeah, don't jump in and hey, all right, well, I'm just gonna hit this super highly intense class, and this is my first time ever exercising. You're gonna hate it, and it's not gonna be fun.
Especially that second day when that
Yeah,
lactic acid is built up, and so
yeah,
what?
that soreness. Yeah, absolutely.
So Mike, as a certified trainer, we were talking earlier. You said that we're working in this virtual world. How has that affected you, and what can you offer, people that could use some help?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely things have changed. We aren't doing our normal business, our day-to-day business. So what I've had to do is I've had to change my class settings, and what I've done is I've actually went from offering classes 3 days a week, 3 times a day, to doing a once a day, 3 days a week online class. And I've actually made it available and free for everybody because I want to make sure that people are still able to exercise and still able to get movement in. And still do something that keeps them active and again builds the immune system. So I've offered that on my business page over at 605 Grip Fitness on
And did
Facebook.
I hear that you said free?
Yeah, it's free.
Nice.
Free to everybody. You don't have to have a login or anything like that. You just go onto the page, and I actually have all the workouts already recorded and saved on there. So people are able to do that. Another thing I've done for my clients at my gym is that I've sent them all free workouts. So through email, I send them daily workouts they can do with no equipment involved. So that way they can at least get something in. And I've done personal training as well virtually. So I do send custom workouts based on the equipment that people have and then also their goals and what they're looking at doing too. So.
Okay. Now, when people are working with, let's just say, their phone, and they're set up in their living room, is that a challenge? Can you hear them? Can they hear you? What's the best way to do that as far as hardware and just to make it work better?
If you have a laptop, you have a phone. I got a dog that really wants my attention. If you have a laptop, you have a phone, something that you can keep close by you, you can watch. That does help. I have things like I send workouts over email that you can download as a PDF, and then you can actually print it out so you can bring it with you and do it, in the living room. If you got a smart TV, you can tune on to our Facebook page from there, or even utilizing a YouTube app for that as well. But yeah, I mean, having something virtual by you obviously would be helpful to be able to do it. Otherwise, yeah, printing the workouts out and stuff like that too. So
Well, awesome. That's all the questions I have, Mike. I appreciate you and being a leader in the area, helping out people in the community. And so to wrap it up, it is important to maintain our body, our health, eat right, sleep right, and fitness plays a big role, especially during this virus. And you gave some great advice. And if someone wants to get onto a virtual training, we can steer them toward you and go from there. I really appreciate it, Mike, and
yeah, thank you.
hope we can get down there when this is all done and get through another boot camp with you. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on.
You bet. Thanks, Mike.
Yep, thanks.